is up? Welcome back to the Amuse Me podcast. How's it going? Today in the studio, we got my friend, your friend, everyone's friend, Elijah A.K.A Ogi.
Hey, what's up? How's everyone doing?
We're doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good.
Yeah. Pretty interesting. First time on a podcast or anything really online.
Right. Remember, whatever you hear on the microphone is exactly what they hear on there. Right. So if you don't feel like you can hear yourself, I'm gonna let you know. Be like, hey man, speak up to the mic a little, get a little bit closer and stuff like that. So right now, good. Yeah, I'm gonna do a couple of switches. If you look at that TV over there, I'm gonna switch locations. So it's gonna be, bam. Cool. So now this is actually the way it should be. Like, you know, it's not mirrored image. It's the actual, so you can see it's read perfectly, Rick and Morty, everything. You could read everything perfectly.
Nice.
And we got some cool things on here as well. I'll show you. Look, we can actually, there's a statistic thing where it shows what people think of the stream. I'm barely starting to do this now, but.
It's pretty cool, though.
Check it out.
A little bot comes out. That's cool.
Boom. And it gives you a little percentage of what everyone thinks.
Nice.
Then 60% people think that's cool. 70, you know, all that stuff.
Cool.
There's some ones that we're mixing up on there. I'm still working with it though, still getting used to using it. There's some sounds on there that you can't really hear because it's on the TV. So I have to figure out a way to set it up so I hook up the TV to the PA then. So you can hear all of that sound too on the headphones because you can't do that yet. Yeah. So what's up, man? How's it going?
Pretty good.
Working hard today, right? A lot of working on that car, man. That sucks.
Yeah, that's what I spend most of my days doing is working on vehicles. So.
What was the car you were working on? What was it? It's a Oldsmobile, right?
Oldsmobile and Treat, and I just had bad luck. Got parts stolen out of the bed of my truck last night, so that kind of sucked.
Yeah, just so you guys know. Let me get this off right away. Yeah, just so you guys know, he actually was doing some work on the car recently, and what he did was he put the alternator in the back of his truck. No biggie, you know, being like, oh, I can do that. There's no problem. I live in a nice white neighborhood, and nothing's going to happen. Then all of a sudden, in the morning, he comes asking me. I'm like, I'm not too sure, man.
Your truck last.
I could have swore it was in the back last night, and literally right when I said that, his head popped. It was just like, what?
Yep. I don't know who steals an alternator. I mean, I don't know why you'd steal an alternator, but...
What can you get for an alternator?
Nothing.
You can't get shit? Nothing? What is it made out of? It's just like got copper in there?
It's got copper, but I mean, it's not like it's worth anything.
Not a lot, right?
I don't know. It's an alternator.
Couldn't get shit for that.
I mean, unless you have a vehicle it goes to, I mean, it's worthless. But that was the highlight of my day, is getting something stolen and having to go pull a new one.
But at least you got to do that whole salvage yard thing. You know, you went to go, there's...
It's always fun. There's always interesting stuff there at a salvage yard, cool different stuff. You could find stuff for different vehicles, and there's always random weird things you'll see there, too. It's pretty crazy. Also, I always trip out, too. You'll see these vehicles, whole driver's side smashed in. Like, it looks like whoever's driving that, looks like they would probably die. But it brought a good question to mind. It's like, is it unethical to take cars someone's been killed in an accident?
That's a good question.
I actually was thinking that, and it's like, do they take cars that people have actually died in, or is that unethical?
No, I think they did. I think they have.
I would think so too, because some of them you see, they look like that driver's side's gone. Like whoever drove, I don't think they could live. But it's like, I feel like that's unethical. I don't know.
And there's even those times too when somebody dies inside of a house. Obviously, they have to resell the house. What are they?
Car, like, really?
How bad do you think? What do you think the severity of the death has to be? Gunshot to the head? No, you can't buy that. No, I'm not going to buy that car.
Well, see, I would think it's like, well, if the car's full of blood, you can't take it then. But I mean, if they didn't bleed, I guess that works, right?
That's true. And I mean, if
found that interesting though today. That was one of my thoughts while walking through the salvage yard, looking at different smashed vehicles.
And you could just wonder too, right? I mean, I wonder if this one was in a mob ring. Wonder if there was like a police chase down with this Buick.
You see some old cars there too. It's like, or like they have some nice cars there that they'll actually sell, but I wouldn't trust a salvage yard to buy a car from. So
really,
yeah.
I mean, I guess if you do the research pretty well, right? You're like, you look at the car left and like up and down, left and right, so perfectly, just you know exactly what it's gonna look like.
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy. So your nickname Ogi, that's crazy. So again, his name is Elijah, but everybody around here calls him Ogi. So like, I don't know, you want to give a little history on that? Why they call you Ogi?
Well, it's a semi-long story. I mean, back in high school, my brother had a best friend. They were just kicking it in class one day, and this chick asked him, "It's like, what's your brother's name?" And they weren't even paying attention to her, weren't talking to her, nothing. And somehow she managed to hear Ogi, and next thing you know, my brother was like, yeah, that's it. And by the end of the day, I was walking in the halls, and it was actually my first year at that high school. I just moved to the town, so I didn't know anyone, and everyone's walking around just saying, it's like, hey, what's up, Ogi? How's it going, Ogi? I'm just looking around, looking behind me like, who the hell are you talking to?
So they already had like
I didn't know any of these people because Desmond made friends right away because he's always been the kind of guy to make friends right away. I'm a little bit more
shy.
Yeah,
you're
and,
shy.
You know, I'm a quiet guy, so it's like I didn't know anyone, and they're walking around. It's like, hey, what's up, Ogi? I'm like, who's Ogi? Who are you guys talking to?
Oh my god.
At the end of the day, Desmond's like, yeah, it's like you're Ogi now. It's like, no, I don't like that name. Took me about 2 years to get used to it, and it's been like 8 years now. I think
now it's like
called Ogi. So
that's all anybody ever calls you.
I introduce myself to people as Ogi, so it's different. There's people. It's like they'll say my real name, and it's like, how'd you learn my real name? It's like, I don't remember telling you my real name.
Right.
Where'd you find that out at?
That's pretty funny now too, because a lot of people come up to you and they're just like Ogi, and I'm just like, well, I think about it for a second. I'm just like, his name's Elijah, but then like,
yeah, because certain people call me Ogi still. Like a lot of people I went to school with, but there's the people, usually the closer ones to me, they call me Elijah, like you, or Desmond calls me Ogi because he gave me the name.
Yeah, and it's just easier too.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just slips. It's Elijah or Ogi.
Yeah, even it's weird. Even sometimes my dad will call me Ogi, and when he calls me Ogi, it's like, what?
That's kind of
It
weird.
feels weird because he's my dad, so it's like, for him to call me my nickname is just a little bit different of a feeling than like a friend or just a random person, like an acquaintance or something.
Somebody else trying to call you that.
It's a different feeling because it's like, you're my dad. I mean, call me Elijah. It feels better.
I know, right?
It feels a little different if you call me Ogi.
And yeah, man, your dad's pretty cool too. He's a character for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely got to get him on here.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to do it next week. You know it's crazy though. You know what's next week?
What's that?
It's Comic-Con, Albuquerque Comic-Con.
Yeah, I heard something on the radio about that.
Dude, they have some pretty crazy guests. I'm gonna look that up right away.
So that actually brings me to a question on, like, maybe something good topic. Whatever happened to Ace Comic-Con? Like, so what happened to that? Is it still Ace Comic-Con, but they just don't call it Ace anymore, or is it a different company, a different situation?
No, they pretty much.
I don't even know more about that stuff.
I'm pretty sure, as far as I remember, they got bought out by Albuquerque Comic-Con. Because Albuquerque Comic Expo was another company doing a Comic-Con where they like knew some people, famous people, and they got guests.
Well, because they got that thing going on in Arizona now. That's called Ace Comic-Con there. That's the one they got around the same time. That's like got Stan Lee and all them, like Tom Holland and Chris Evans and everything is supposed to be on that one.
And that's crazy that same acronym stands for the same thing, like Arizona Comic Book
it's funny
Expo.
Though, 'cause for Ace for Arizona, they're going state name. For Albuquerque, it was just, the city name.
Yeah.
So, a little different, but I always thought that was weird. I thought it was interesting because I only been to Ace that one time, long time ago, so wouldn't mind going to Albuquerque Comic Convention. I mean,
so I know you really can't see it on that screen over there, but look, like you see right there, what's his name? Chandler?
Yeah.
From The Walking Dead. That guy's going to be there. Danny Trejo. Mr. Machete.
Yeah,
he's gonna
was telling me that. That's pretty cool.
He's going to be there. They have some superstars too, like Rey Mysterio and Sting is going to be there.
Rey Mysterio and Sting.
I know.
Sting's kind of cool. I mean, back in the day, it's a good hype. He was a decent wrestler.
He put out a video too, like getting ready, like, hey Albuquerque, I hope you're ready for me to come to New Mexico.
What happened to Sting not talking, just sitting in the rafters, just not doing nothing?
I know, right? He was such a badass
right?
back in the 90s.
Took on the whole the Crow makeup and everything. Because remember back before he was Sting, like, I can't remember what his name was, but like, he was just like one of those glam boys, like all the rest of the original wrestlers used to be. So it's like, and then he took on that persona after the Crow, where he did his face paint and got like this mysterious, non-speaking attitude and everything.
Yeah, because he still was Sting, right? With all the the colorful paint.
I think he was, but it was just like a different situation. He was just just a different kind of vibe, different attitude. He wasn't that mysterious like dark persona. It was more like a Ed Hardy kind of persona.
Oh,
or like
yeah.
Like all the rest of them, like a Triple H kind of style or some stupid crap.
I thought that was funny too, because it's just like, because it's so funny to see wrestling how they always transition. Like, remember Kane?
Yeah.
Like why did he take off his mask? I thought he was a burn victim.
Right.
It's like, that's one of those things that always tripped me out. And then all of a sudden he ends up talking. Then he had a little bit more of a backstory.
Because there was that one match where it was Hulk Hogan and Kane and The Rock were on a team on a tag team together, and it's like they were doing like one of those little behind the scenes, backstage kind of little interview things with Hulk Hogan and The Rock, and they're like getting all pumped up, and then Kane comes out there and he's just standing there. It's like,
oh yeah,
all just quiet, and they're like, yo man, so what's up, you ready? The Rock gets all like kind of like brave and is like, oh, what, you ready to go? It's like, you ready for this match? Kane's like, just sits there silent for a minute, and then starts going all crazy, like yelling, like just getting them all hyped up. But he's talking like Hulk Hogan. It's like, hey brother, it's like,
yeah, hey brother,
all kinds of crazy weird shit.
Are you ready to join the army?
What was it called? It was I can't even remember what their team was. Because it was like Hulk Hogan, The Rock, and like they had a bunch of other wrestlers, and they had it was like an acronym for something. I can't remember what it was.
It wasn't the same one.
Because later on, Sting actually joined it, but for a while they had a rivalry against Sting, and then eventually he became a part of it.
Wait, and then they had like they changed like color schemes, right? Instead of it being white and black, it ended up being red and black.
Something, I think. I don't know. I just can't remember what it was, because it was Hulk Hogan's main like squad and everything. They had like it was some sort of acronym. I just can't remember. It's I was born late 90s, so I barely know this stuff.
It's crazy, too, the way that I think the one that you're describing is called the NWO.
Yeah, something like that, yep.
But at that time, there was actually two wrestling franchises going on.
Mm-hmm.
There was the WWF and then the WCW.
Yeah.
And so they were actually having a conflict of, like, trying to, like, own management of these wrestlers. So, like, WCW ended up owning Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
And they started doing the NWA, and it was like a raw, badass kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then they actually got other people from the WWF. They're like, well, why am I here? Like, they're obviously I'd probably be making more and more.
Way more money.
And so some of them did go, and it was pretty funny.
Yeah. Like I said, I was born late 90s, so I barely know it, but I liked that stuff, dude. That was like the coolest stuff to watch when I was a kid. Always coming home watching wrestling and everything. With Foley, man.
I know, right? And he went through some pretty crazy changes too.
He wanted to make it real though, so he was always like being realistic with everything until like he got really hurt and everything, and then he had to retire. But him and there's a few old wrestlers that they actually straight up make it real and get hurt and bleed and everything for sure, so that way it looked realistic. Because otherwise wrestling looks a lot fake. Like if you actually go to a real wrestling match and watch it in the crowd, I mean, you see they're not actually punching and stuff like that. On TV, I mean, they actually, they go for those good camera angles to make it look more realistic, so that way, it looks cooler. But live, it's not as cool, so they wanted to make it a better show, And all about theatrics, man.
I could just imagine just practicing those falls, over and over. Like, oh god, I fell on my ass again. And you just like breaks it, and then till you get it good enough that you could actually like some of those guys jump off like 20-foot ladders.
Oh yeah, man, they did some crazy shit. And I always thought it'd be cool back when like I was a kid. I was like, I wanted to be a stunt man, but that never came through because my idea was just because I was accident prone. I mean, that's not really a good, it's not a good motivator for a job or career choice. Just because I'm used to getting hurt doesn't mean I should fall back on getting hurt.
What did they say? If you're like that kind of person, you should try to join the stunt devil or something.
Yeah.
Be like a stunt devil.
Yeah, but I just figured, nah, if I do that, then I'm just like, I'm tempting my fate, and at that point, I'll probably end up doing something stupid and get really hurt.
That would be pretty intense after a while.
Yeah. My luck, I'd get really hurt, so nah, I'm good.
So, like, it was only... You knew it was fake when you saw wrestling. When you were...
Not when I was a kid. I mean, not until I got a little older, I mean.
Yeah.
Then I figured out, yeah.
I guess everybody's in that whole blind stage, That's kind of...
If your parents don't tell you, then yeah, I think so.
I mean, that's always the worst thing. See, a little flag. You could even fuck with it.
Huh.
Yeah, look at that. Wait. Totally pretty cool.
That's cool.
And then I was doing this too. Where
what does the flag have on it? I can't really see. I don't have my glasses.
It says the Amuse Me broadcast, and it has the
Alright.
Instagram,
Cool.
the Twitter, and the Facebook where to find it.
Nice.
And then I did this too, where like, wait, I'll go back and do yours. This one was for you. Bam! Elijah, A.K.A Ogi in the studio.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Same thing on my side too. I did the same thing. I just thought it was cool just to fuck around, and you can fuck with it too.
Nice. So
It's
you got
it's
your
there.
Actual...
You could, it's fucking there. Go ahead, move it around, touch it. You know you want to.
That's pretty cool, man. That's interesting.
And then you just like a click of a button, bam, they're all gone.
Nice.
So I thought that's cool. A little bit more advertising with the PlayStation.
Yeah.
I never thought I could do that. So
That's pretty cool. It gives you more options and everything.
you could even put videos and stuff, but you have to actually upload them, save them to the PlayStation,
Yeah.
and then probably play some stuff. So
It's pretty cool, though. You got it going, man. It's coming out killer.
thank you, Delta Zero. Yeah, that is pretty cool. It's just some random stuff you could do with the PlayStation. The PlayStation room. This is the playroom. So this is some cool stuff.
And it looks good with your background and all your decor.
Yeah, what can I say? Not too bad. I mean, I'm not no Joe Rogan, but at least I'm getting there, right?
Yeah.
He's go ahead. No,
What's up?
you gonna say something about Joe Rogan?
Don't know too much about him. He's pretty badass, though. I mean,
I
I've watched a few of his podcasts. I liked the one with shit, I can't remember his name. Pauly Shore. I've always loved Pauly Shore. I don't know why. People, I don't know. A lot of people don't like Pauly Shore, but I mean, I always thought his movies were great. I mean, a lot of people don't like Biodome, but that's like one of my favorite movies.
Well,
man.
it's a chance to. I don't even know how to do his impersonation, but that guy's funny as fuck.
Or even the Goofy movies and everything. He was that one dude. I always love that. It's like, it's the Leaning Tower of Jesus.
Oh, dude. And then, dude, literally, that guy is a fucking stoner.
Oh yeah,
He's playing a
for
stoner.
Sure. Oh yeah,
That's what I loved about cartoons like that. Is like, you know, they're just trying to like, okay, here's a great example, like like Scooby Doo, right?
Of course.
Shaggy and Scooby.
Yep.
I'm just gonna go off
Most
into the
iconic
van.
one, yeah.
I'm just gonna go off into the van and be scared for a little bit because I'm paranoid as hell because I just smoked a joint. Jeez.
Always eating large, massive amounts of food. Or I don't know if you remember on the live action movie, the first one they came out with, like with Freddie Prinze and I can't remember the guy, but the guy that played Shaggy was the one from Scream. I forget that actor's name, but he's a really good comedian and everything. But I don't know if anyone remembers the part where they're sitting there right after the gang splits up in the first movie, and they all split up, go their own ways. Shaggy and Scooby are kicking back on the beach in the van, and they're cooking and everything in the van at first, so it's like you kind of think maybe it's from the food, but it's like when they open the doors, there's no really any smoke in the van when they show them inside. While they're cooking. But when they open the doors, it's like just a massive wave of freaking smoke just rolls out. So it's like it brings to the question: was it from the grill, or was it from them smoking? It's a good question. I mean, gets you to a little fan theory or something, I guess. But I've always loved that, and then especially Nickelodeon cartoons, they like to do a lot of stuff like that. Like to do interesting things where they hide little things. Like Invader Zim was actually one of the first Nickelodeon cartoons to actually show an episode with blood in it.
Oh,
it's
okay.
Like the part where I don't remember what episode it is, but it's one where Dib gets turned inside out, and when he gets shot back from being inside out, he gets thrown at a fence, and if you look, there's blood marks on the fence that run down really, really fast. But it's the first time Nickelodeon ever let a TV series put blood on one of their shows. So it was just one random fact I was watching on little videos and shit. So it was pretty cool.
That's cool too, because like again, those little things inside of cartoons that are like a play on humor.
Yeah.
Because I know there's some of them too where they made fun of it. Like Rugrats was like making sexual jokes inside of the grandpa said something. He's like,
"Oh, back like
a movie." Yeah, he's like, "Hey guys, I brought you guys a movie, but this one's for me. I'm going to the room."
Yeah, that's pretty cool stuff like that. You wouldn't notice it. I mean, remember when I was a kid watching that stuff all the time because my dad constantly loved watching cartoons with us. Now that I get older, it's like I watch it and you see it, and it's like, oh my god, really? You wouldn't have noticed that before. Or actually, there's a episode of Powerpuff Girls where it was like a later episode, and I think it's Blossom. They're at school and she gets thrown into the lost and found bin, and she's sitting there. It's like when it flashes to her, she's wearing a red sweater, like a jacket and a beanie, like Cartman.
Oh
she
god.
looks just
Oh
like
yeah.
Cartman, and she's like, "Oh, dude," because like she got thrown and she's like, getting up from being hit. She's like, "Oh, dude," like just trying to almost sound like Cartman, but like she's even wearing the same clothes as him. So it's kind of cool. It's like it had to have been later episode around the time South Park had just started or something. Like, because if they were able to do that, I'm not sure when Powerpuff Girls ended or whatever, but I remember it was there on for a while, and I know South Park was on when I was a kid, but I never really watched it because my parents didn't really want me to. My dad would watch it. They had the movie.
I know, right? Oh, man. What is it, 95 or 94, I think it came out.
Really?
And that's ridiculous.
So, before I was even born.
I was like barely 4 years old when that thing came out.
Yeah.
I didn't start watching it till I was like at least like 13.
Yeah.
So there was quite a bit of episodes already under the belt, but
yeah.
that show in itself is just fucking hilarious.
Right.
So
I think the first time I watched the movie, because my dad had the movie for the longest time. That movie and that old movie, Heavy Metal. Like those two movies, I remember my mom and dad went somewhere once. Me, my brother, and my sister were home, and we went and grabbed the movies. And we sat there watching them the whole time my mom and dad were gone, and never understood why they didn't really want us to watch them. Because I mean, they were bad. But to be honest, with all the other crap we would watch around that time, I mean, they weren't too bad compared to other stuff I would see just on normal TV. So they were. I mean, back then there wasn't as much cussing and stuff on TV as nowadays, but there was still some bad stuff you could see back there. Because I mean, you didn't get on-demand kind of stuff right away and watch whatever the hell you want. So.
yeah. And then now you see it too. It's like now what you see on TV, like it's so gruesome and so bad. You're just like, what? I really was not allowed to see that.
And then, but see, you see that stuff like with other channels, like more channels, they've showed more stuff now, and it's like you're able to cuss more on TV with certain words are more acceptable now. But you see modern cartoons, they don't have as much cartoon violence, except for certain ones. You'll see ones like Gravity Falls or something.
Oh, yeah.
You get those few cartoons and modern cartoons that have a little bit of that old school cartoon violence, that old vibe and everything. But a lot of the new ones, they're just like, they're not as bad because they're trying to like teach kids that bullying's bad and everything. And I get that, but I don't necessarily think that means get rid of all the funny parts in cartoons. I mean, that's the coolest parts. I mean, I always thought. I mean, the funny parts, like the fight scenes of cartoons, because they do. It's a cartoon. I mean, look at like shows like Ed, Ed and Eddie. I mean, they like get their tongues stuck around like a ceiling fan or something. They get,
I know,
like,
right?
Jacked up, but it's a cartoon, so I mean, their tongues would stretch and everything. So I mean, yeah, it's cartoon violence, but it was funny. It was physical humor. So I mean, it got people laughing. Nowadays, there's that, but I feel like shows try to have that. They push the envelope with really, really weird stuff, but it's not as funny as the old stuff used to be because it just doesn't have that same aspect or like that same feeling as the old cartoons would have. Like it's just a different feeling. Maybe just because older now than not, things have changed. I mean, even movies and everything, nothing's really the same as it used to be. Though granted, there's some good stuff out there, but I mean, you see so many remakes of old classic movies and they screw them up to hell.
Sometimes,
because,
I mean,
sometimes you get some decent ones,
but more than likely, it is shit. It is shit.
I mean, because they don't really take the like. So if people liked it the original way, I don't see what's the problem with keeping it original. If you're gonna redo it, just redo it and keep it to the storyline. I mean, just modernize it.
Yeah.
So I mean, if it's a good story, people loved it from the beginning. Why change it? Just make modernize it a little bit. Maybe a few little minor tweaks, but nothing that changes the story to the point where people are gonna be pissed off. And I hate that when they do that with books too. Don't change book lines, just storylines of books to make movies. I hate that.
That's the hardest part too. Is like they have like a whole rendition of a book put into like a freaking. Some people take like weeks to read a book, and then all of a sudden they have to try to narrow that down to an hour and a half to 2 hours. I mean, obviously,
I'm the kind of guy like it takes me a long time to find a book. I don't care for reading unless it's like a really good book that'll catch my attention. And if that's the case, I'll sit there and read a massive chapter book, and I'll sit there and take the time, go through it and everything. But that's when it bugs me. It's like if they take a really, really good book, and they go and make a movie out of it and just completely screw it up. And once that happens, it's just like it just like upsets you because it's like It's a really
I'm
good
done.
story.
Yeah, I'm done.
It's like I don't even want to watch the movie.
Because there's a lot of parts on. Because you did you go see the It movie yet? I don't remember if you did or
Yeah,
not.
I've seen that one.
Okay, there's a lot of parts in the book that they didn't portray in the movie.
Yeah.
Because like I don't know if there's this one part that they say that the girl Beverly, she actually like goes through like this weird like orgy with everyone in like all the kids.
Really?
Yeah, and it's like some initiation thing, like like it's supposed to be like a connection, kind of like coming to terms with something, but they didn't show that in the ABC series one, because actually that was a ABC miniseries.
Yeah, I remember seeing something about that.
That's crazy, that like ABC is actually let's go ahead and make that into a movie, which was, I feel back then, was scary.
Well, like they had a hard time doing it anyway, just because the fact that it's like, they had to make it TV acceptable, so they couldn't really take the Stephen King story directly from the book, because I mean, stuff in the book's way more intense.
I mean, orgy? What the fuck?
I mean, and it doesn't even really explain, like, you just barely kind of notice towards the end of the movie and everything that it's like he's an alien.
Yeah.
But not, I mean, it doesn't say it necessarily. But if you read the book, it, or Pennywise, he's actually an alien from, I don't remember what planet, but he's like an alien and everything. So it's interesting. So
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much more to the stories like that the movie doesn't show, but I guess they're supposed to make a second movie, so maybe they might actually, throw some more stuff in there, make it a little bit more interesting, actually, I mean, show more of like the book line, like storyline. Just, I mean, they actually were able to make it a little bit more scary. I didn't think it was too scary. I thought it was good, but I mean, there was no like gore parts that made you like, trip out and be like, oh my god, that was pretty bad.
The newest
no one
one
really died. No one died. So I mean, people died, but no main characters. So I mean, when no main characters die, it's kind of one of those storylines where it's cool, but it's not necessarily like something that scares you so much, because it's like, I mean, no one died.
Yeah.
So I mean, even that part where it's like Pennywise is like, that one Jewish kid is like, he's about to like eat his face or whatever, and they save him right before he gets eaten. So I mean, it kind of worries you there for a second, builds the suspense, but he don't die. So I mean,
it's not as bad.
Yeah. So I mean, and if you know the story, I mean, I guess since it's already a remake of a movie, I guess you kind of already know the plot line anyway.
Yeah, you kind of expect something.
So yeah, no one's gonna die or whatnot, and you know how it's gonna end and whatever. So I mean, you already have a idea, but it was still a good movie.
And that's kind of the same thing too with like The Walking Dead, because like obviously it's a comic book form, and they bring it into like the TV aspect, and it has a little bit of changes.
On that, I know. The last thing I heard about, but I haven't seen, was Carl got bit, so I'm a little nervous on finding out anything else about that. If you know he got bit, he's obviously dead. Yeah, I mean,
Billy, what's up, man? Thank you for coming to the stream.
I just feel like maybe, like I said, I haven't seen it, but I just was hoping it's like, maybe somehow he got bit by a person some way, some random person just decided, I'm going to bite him just to get away or some crap,
Yeah.
Hopefully, because, I mean, that's kind of sad, Rick's going to lose Carl, but Judith is still alive, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, he still has his baby, but that sucks, man,
Because he's lost everyone now. His wife, his cheating wife.
Who would that leave left? Just him and Daryl, right?
Daryl, and Carol.
Carol, yeah.
Daryl, really? Carol from the original cast.
Yeah, because they brought back that one Mexican dude who's part of the Saviors, and then they shoot him right over Daryl with an arrow in his head. So I mean, he's gone. Well, Morgan's still alive, so I mean, but he's not necessarily part of the first group, but he was part of the first season. So I mean, I guess you can kind of count him.
I mean, I would. I mean, he is a badass too.
I mean, he was technically shown before the other ones, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he did take a long break too. Like, you didn't see him for quite a while, and then he came back.
So that would be kind of depressing if they were to take him out. I feel like, if you're gonna take anyone else after Carl, because if he's gone, he's gone. But go Carol. Don't take away Daryl quite yet, and leave Morgan alone, man. Morgan's pretty cool. Like, he's a badass. I mean, he's got some issues. He's going back and forth between being this monk wannabe to being this psychopath murderer to being now he's just like justified murderer again. So, I mean, I don't know, but it's interesting. I'm very curious to. So yeah, that is it though, huh? Everyone else is all dead. So, wow, man, that's That's crazy. How many years has it been since that show's been on now? About like 7 or so, or
Oh my
8?
God. Actually, I'm gonna look that up right now.
That's pretty crazy. Because I remember when we first started watching it, it was years ago. Like around the time, like not when I first met you, but like around the time we first started hanging out when you had your first trailer.
Had to have been 2010.
Yeah, because I remember we watched that episode, the first episode. You told us about it because I think Evan told you about it, and we watched it, and like we were a little skeptical at first starting to watch it, but by the end of the first episode, we were like, yeah, I gotta see how the rest of it goes because he ends with him laying in that tank all hurtled up, and then you just hear Glenn's voice over the radio. It's like, hey, dumbass.
That was
Right?
so perfect.
It's like, hey, yeah, you in the tank.
So I guess the very first episode was in 2013.
Really?
So it's a little late. I mean, well, later than I thought. I thought it
Yeah.
was earlier.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess that is.
It's been a while.
I don't know what started first. Breaking Bad or well, The Walking Dead. Breaking Bad, obviously, right?
Yeah, I would think so, because I think Breaking Bad was already a few seasons in when Walking Dead started. I think Breaking Bad.
Oh yeah, 2008.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
was gonna say I thought they started way sooner, but when did they end? Like Breaking Bad ended in it had to have been around like 2013 or something. Around that time, I think maybe it had to be around 2013 or so, because that's around the time we started watching Walking Dead. It was when we were still watching Breaking Bad. I remember all that.
The end of Breaking Bad was. I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing anything.
And it was only 5 seasons.
2013.
Right? So yeah, 2013. That's
It was about the exact same. Like right when that ended, that show started.
Yeah,
That's
because I think that's
crazy.
why we started watching Walking Dead, is because we were done with Breaking Bad and we were trying to find something else to switch over to. Because I remember there for a while. What was it? Was it Hell on Mills or something like that? We started watching or some shit. Like it was something like that. It was one of those kind of shows. It was weird, but I remember. Well, that's just weird though. It started in 2008, ended in 2013. So lasted a while, but for 5 seasons, that's crazy.
The last season did take a while. Like it was a half season, and then it waited almost like another year to bring out the rest of the season, which was a big suspense, but it was still pretty cool.
Yeah, that's crazy. So I wonder, how long do you think Walking Dead's gonna go on? Much longer? Because what they're at, like 7 seasons now.
If The Walking Dead keeps doing what it's doing, I would
They
say.
could keep going on and on. I mean, couldn't they?
Yeah, I mean.
I mean, they're gonna eventually lose everyone from the original group. But if Rick's still alive, they could really do whatever they want, right?
Yeah, especially if they don't really follow the comic book storyline too much.
Huh. Comics are still going on too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy. I wonder when that's gonna end too.
Or maybe it did end. I'm not sure.
The comic book series.
I'm not sure. I'm double checking that now.
Yeah.
It did end.
It
It ended. The series ended in 2003.
What? Seriously?
Yeah, but I guess there's still a lot in the book that hasn't been aired on TV yet.
Oh, all right.
Over 150 issues.
Wow.
It's finally planned the conclusion.
So The Walking Dead was around for a lot longer than way before the show ever came on. Then, in that case.
The comic book thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably been. Oh, dude.
It was out for a long time. So I wonder what made them decide out of nowhere? It's like, hey, we should turn this into a TV series. That's not a. I mean, it worked for them. I mean, made millions. So, I mean, great idea. But I wonder. I really am curious to who got that going.
And then it says too that the comic has also served for the basis of the popular second TV show, Fear of the Walking Dead.
I'm still behind on that too. Is that going on right now, or is
It just ended the third season, I think.
All right.
It's a bunch of Mexicans. It's cool though. Don't get me wrong. It's funny. It's awesome. But then half the time you're reading subtitles like "Dame la pinche agua, dame la agua para acá." You know, they're talking nothing but Spanish, and it's all about crisis of water and stuff for the most part.
Yeah.
But it's pretty crazy. So, anyways, I found this little thing we're gonna listen to right here. This is just it won't come up. We're just gonna listen to it.
Right.
This is Axl Rose and Billy Armstrong slamming on Trump. I guess they tweeted something or said something. This is recent too.
Right.
This just came out 2 days ago. So let's hear what these assholes have to say.
It's Tony Gonzalez with the latest rock news. President Trump remains a popular target of ridicule with some of his latest actions firing up a pair of rock's biggest names. Trump stirred things up this week with Kim Jong-il suggesting in a tweet that he too had a nuclear button, one that was bigger than the North Korean's leader, and that it worked. Green Day's Billy Joe Armstrong.
Wait. So, fucking Donald Trump's over here tweeting that he has a fucking, oh, my button works. It's not even rusty at all.
Well, I mean, he's telling the truth, but I mean, no one's gonna let Trump. I mean, the UN's not gonna let that happen, and several other things he would have to go through before he could actually do that. That's just a stupid threat.
That's retarded.
That's just an idle threat. That's just retarded to make.
Anyways, this is what Billy Joel had to say.
Armstrong screen capped that tweet telling his followers, "This isn't funny. This is our president acting like a madman, drunk on power, threatening to kill innocent, starving people by way of nuclear war, before encouraging people to push for the impeachment of Trump." The Trump tweet also...
Damn, he doesn't like that guy. Yeah. Well, I guess I could see what he's talking about, you know.
I mean, it's not all the North Koreans. I mean, a lot of them, they have no choice. I mean, that or die, follow their leader or die.
I mean if that's the case, why haven't we sent in like a sickle assassin or something right away?
I've thought the same exact thing. It's like, why isn't it like the governments don't come together and just be like, why don't we just go liberate North Korea, and call it good, you know, instead of doing all this stupid crap and possibly, you know, having to deal with World War III or some stupid, you know, thing like that.
I don't get why they think...
I mean, I don't know how many allies Korea has.
I know they have little relationships with Russia and China, but I don't know if it's enough for them to get pissed off of us if something happens.
Well, you would think Russia and China, being that we're allies as well, I mean, you would think they'd be like, you know, yeah, dude, we're all allies. You can't do that to our ally because we wouldn't be able to back you up, and we can't do it to them because they wouldn't be able to back us up. So why don't they, like, kind of put Korea in their place and be like, just leave it alone, you know, just quit being an idiot, you know, you're not going to do anything. I mean, you don't have the ability or the, you know.
You can't, you just can't do it.
Yeah, you don't have it. You can't do it at all.
That's the thing, too, that's scary is, like, he's over here, like, all these empty threats, like, maybe I can, I got a bigger dick than you, I'm going to push the button right now.
Right.
But then, again, like, what if it's exactly not what we think or it's worse because we're testing the guy or playing around?
Yeah, I could see that, too, but there's still the whole fact of I'm pretty sure the government keeps an eye on him.
Good enough.
I almost am 100% positive that the government keeps an eye on North Korea just for that reason, being that it's like, okay, well, you know, if they do have this stuff, we need to make sure, we need to look into it, make sure they don't have this stuff, because if it could possibly cause a war. So, I mean, they probably already know what they do have and what they don't have, so that way it's like, you know, that's why they're not worried. Otherwise, I mean, come on. You really think the government's just going to sit there and, like, let them possibly get the ability to blast us with nukes, or are they gonna like actually be like, all right, maybe we should actually take it, you know, serious and look and see if they have it? I would imagine they probably checked into it and see if they have this stuff, and we're like, oh no, they're a few more years away. We don't have to worry for a while, and by then we'll have a plan to take care of it. Something along those lines, I would imagine, or hope for.
Yeah, and hopefully there is something that we can do, like maybe, like they say, a peaceful resolution.
Yeah, because nuclear war is not.
That's pretty crazy. Yeah, literally.
Stupid.
I'm pretty sure like that's probably a really bad scenario for any country that goes into nuclear war.
I'm pretty sure there's at least a dozen viable, very good options that would be way better than nuking somebody. There's way more options, I'm pretty sure, out there that they could use way before just deciding it's like, all right, let's just press the button and nuke them. It's like that's like should be last resort for anybody.
That should be something last resort.
It's devastating, and it's bad for the planet. I mean, why would you want to do something like that? Whether or not, okay, I mean, you have to get rid of a problem. It's like, no, that's just, don't do that. It's stupid. Why do you want to destroy the world we all live on? I mean, it affects all of us in a slight manner. So I mean, why do they? Why even bother with that? Just do something better, smarter, maybe a little bit cheaper, because I'm pretty sure nukes are probably expensive as hell.
Right. Or at least like, yeah, they're probably really like, I heard that the missile to make them is not that expensive though. Like, you know, the actual rocket that gets the actual warhead to there, it's not that expensive.
But the warhead is.
Yeah, and the funny thing about it is like Elon Musk is over here trying to like you know, make his mission to Mars and stuff. So he didn't have really no money, like a lot of money, and he has millions of dollars. He's a fucking billionaire. But the thing that he was doing is like, he goes and calls like the Russian government stuff, or I don't remember if it was the Russian government, but it was a government. He's like, hey, I'm making rockets. What are the supplies to make them? And they're like, oh, well, it's actually really expensive and it's going to take you this much. And they're like, well, wait a second. It's kind of the same thing as making a missile, right? And they're like, oh, yeah, it is. Like, how much do you charge for missiles? And actually, that's a little bit cheaper. So, yeah, he wanted to buy those, and obviously he probably got put on some, like, terrorist watch list or something. But the fact that the guy is thinking of, like, a cheaper, like faster alternative to, like, do it, like, obviously you got all of these missiles ready to launch, but none of them are being used. Why don't you let them,
so I can tear them apart and use them for this?
Yeah, let him try to freaking get us to Mars. Obviously, we need to go there.
Right, that's pretty cool. I like Elon Musk. He's pretty badass. Like, he's a modern day genius, and like really, I don't know. In my opinion, he's a modern day hero of sorts, because he's gonna bring about like a new age of technology. I feel, especially with the electrical engineering products that he comes out with, the Tesla and all the other things he does and everything, like especially the traveling and transport things he's came up with, or the ideas he's at least thrown out there. I mean, they're really good ideas, but it's just a matter of financing them and convincing people to actually go through with it, you know?
Do something with it.
Yeah, because everyone wants to stick with fossil fuels, which, I mean, I can't lie. I like, you know, big ass trucks and everything like
vroom,
that.
vroom.
Like 4-wheel drive vehicles to go in the mountains, but I mean, city wise, yeah, why not have electric cars and, you know, electric buses, or, you know,
obviously
metro systems that are like, you know, instead of electric power, he's got like an ideas for like air powered and everything, stuff like that, you know, it even is faster and it's more efficient. So I mean, stuff like that, I mean, why not? It's in a city. Yeah, I mean, it'd be a great idea. So I mean, I definitely really look forward to hopefully seeing stuff like that happen sometime in my lifetime. I would hope, you know.
I mean, we do already kind of see it. Like, he has those Tesla cars that like run
got that.
so much, like, but they're so expensive.
Oh yeah.
It's like, I mean, geez, obviously you don't see anybody in the ghetto with one of those.
See, but just wait till like eventually. What I feel like, you know, he should really do is the Tesla idea. Take it and use it for freight, like, you know, like freight transport, you know, or like, you know, for semis, stuff like that, you know, come up with the fleet of electric semis. So I mean, I feel like that's probably one of the things that probably, you know, puts out more emissions in the world than anything is, you know, having to transport, you know, goods and stuff like that. I mean, why not use electric vehicles to do it, stuff like that? Or I mean, even if, you know, trains and stuff like that, he's got ideas for like air powered trains and stuff like that. I mean, shit, you know, stuff like that for transporting, you know, fuels, foods, grains, you know, all these other things. You just use stuff like that. I mean, saves way more money. You're not burning coal and stuff like that to run trains anymore. I mean, I don't know how many trains actually run coal or steam or anything like that. I don't know anything about that. But I mean, imagine either way, you're putting out emissions, and it's old, inefficient manners of transport. So I mean,
that we've already discovered multiple ways to bypass
it's just a matter of getting them to actually do it, but it's all about money. So I mean, no one wants to stop using that, because then they lose out on money for fossil fuels, the fuel companies, the lumber industry, anything, you know, anything that loses any kind of company's money, they don't want to do it.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we're good with the old way because it makes us plenty of money, kills us all, but it's all good.
That's pretty funny that you bring that up, because that's one of the things that was funny to me, is why like hemp and marijuana is illegal, because like literally it could be used in so many different fibers, lotions, ropes. I mean, it's literally a miracle thing.
Even processed to make plastic and all too.
There you go. See, but yet it is illegal, and it's obviously gonna like the paper company is gonna lose money.
Lumber industry.
Like, but yet it would help society more.
Even part of the reason is like denim jeans. They can make canvas, jeans out of hemp. They actually used to back in the day. Levi used to make jeans with hemp, and they had to stop making them with hemp because the denim companies were losing money because hemp was so much cheaper to manufacture, and it lasted years and years, way longer than any denim. So it's like they had to stop manufacturing them, and actually they don't have many of them around anymore. You can barely find pants like that. But I was hearing something about, it's like, I guess it's like America is one of the only countries that actually wears denim jeans, because other countries, they don't really want to wear denim because they don't want to look like us.
Yeah, it's an American thing almost.
It's an American thing.
It's a John Wayne Western kind of thing.
Because no one wants to look like Americans, because we're outcasts, I guess, in a way. No worse than certain other countries, but we're up there.
I mean, we are pretty. We do come up with a lot of stuff, though, a lot of cool shit. I mean,
that's for sure.
I mean, a lot of people always like to watch our movies. They like to listen to our music.
Sadly, though, if you think about it, a lot of the best directors aren't even they're American because they've been raised here, but they're not, necessarily American.
They're
different ethnicity, or they came from somewhere else, came here, and they became American from being here. I mean, for a long enough time, and became getting their citizenship. But there's a lot of good directors, or even actors, even just musicians, artists of all sorts that are just from different countries but became Americans, that you wouldn't really know unless you were to actually look up history about them, that they actually were born in another country or something. You would actually think it's like, oh, well, they've been here for so long, you would think they're born here, but you realize, oh, well, no, they're from somewhere else. I mean, Americans are talented. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think that for sure.
We're talented at bringing other people here.
Yeah.
That's what we're good at.
We're good at that, yeah, that's for sure. We definitely like to call out other people to bring them out and, make them stars and get them bigger.
Right. Anyways, let's finish listening to this
for sure.
Donald Trump thing. No, that was good, though. That's a good little rant. That's what we need on this thing, is those rants. Here we go.
Led many to question whether or not the president was fit for office, which led White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders to state that it was disgraceful and laughable for detractors to call Trump unfit. This caught the eye of Guns N' Roses' Axl Rose, who clapped back. Along with several other condescending adjectives, the current White House has no room to call virtually anyone disgraceful. The White House is the current U.S. gold standard for what can be considered disgraceful. For more on these stories, head over to loudwire.com.
Thank you, Loudwire, for all those amazing stories of rock and roll. To hear fucking Billy Joe Armstrong and Axl Rose talk shit about the president. Don't get me wrong, I mean, it's the president and all, but still.
I mean, yeah, he definitely wasn't my first choice, but,
He did it to himself at that point. Like, it's hard to, really be an asshole about it, but he did do it to himself, Like, I love on the South Park where when he, Mr. Garrison, he does become the president, and then he's like, holy fuck, I did not expect this.
Yeah, I didn't want to be president.
I didn't even expect this at all. And that was the perfect thing. It's like, I don't think he did know what was going to happen to him. Or maybe he did. I don't fucking know. The guy's lucky as fuck, though. That's for sure.
That's for sure. I mean, I don't understand how he hasn't been impeached or something hasn't happened. But, I mean, it's pretty hard, I guess. I mean, it takes time, and I guess they got to have a good enough reason to get rid of him. So I guess they can't just throw him off just because they want to,
Yeah.
He's already sworn into office and everything. It takes a lot of time, a lot of, lawsuits, I would imagine, or, contracts or bills to push or something like that. I don't know much politics, but I know it probably takes a lot of time than people would imagine, and just getting pissed off doesn't really help. But eventually, either something will come of it or we're screwed. So I guess we just gotta figure something out.
We just gotta wait till 2020 when the Rock, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson becomes president. He's just gonna freaking fucking rock bottom King Jong-il, rock bottom him into submission, and then You don't have to worry about anything no more.
Yep.
That's what I was talking with your brother. I was like, what if it came to the point where like it was just world leaders going at it in an MMA fight? Bam, 5 rounds. They don't have to kill each other.
Yeah.
You don't. It's just a regular MMA fight, just to see you could kick each other's ass, and you could have bragging rights, and I mean, you have a big army or whatever, but you're the commander in chief.
Kim Jong-un, I'd say Trump.
Oh, you think so?
My money's on Trump.
Oh my God.
I think Trump would win that one. He's got what is it? That American blood. Got redneck attitude or whatever. He'd probably put up a good fight. Probably kick his ass.
I think he would just like kind of like, I don't know, how do you want to say it? I think he'd just like fight dirty.
I mean, yeah, but
I guess it's America, right? It's America.
It's America for you,
right? Just be like Randy Marsh, right? I thought this was America. This is America.
I'm sorry. I thought this was America.
I thought this was America. All right, give me 1 second. I'm gonna play a little audio track and just do a little advertising. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. Go do all this following stuff that you're about to see on the screen. You're awesome. Remember that. Remember that, everyone. That's just my little thing of advertising right there for a second. See, and then if I do get sponsorship, bam, that's where their thing will come out.
Yeah.
And this is being sponsored by G Fuel.
Fuel.
This is being sponsored by Red Bull right now.
Gatorade.
This is sponsored by Gatorade. This is sponsored by Loot Box, guys. Thank you guys right away. But yeah, follow, subscribe, find me on all this social media stuff. Give me some more questions. Give me some stuff to ask on the stream, guys, because it's just going to get better and better. We got more guests lined up. Got more people to come on, so it's going to be good.
Sure, that'd be great, man.
So we actually, if you guys don't know this, me and him, we play in a band.
Yeah.
I want to tell him that band name right away?
Causes to Become.
Causes to Become with a K.
Yep.
I know it's a little weird to say that, but that's our band name, Causes to Become with the K. We've been playing for almost 8 years now.
Something like that.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time, yeah. From right when I just got out of high school in Desmond, too, so it's been quite a while and quite a journey. Some interesting stuff to go through. Loss of equipment and everything.
That was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
That story was intense. Like, okay, I'm gonna tell it a little bit, but we were actually got gigged. We got a gig to play at a con. It was a little con, barely growing. It was a con here in New Mexico. Yeah, it was called Jacko Con, and oh, it was amazing, right? We were hyped. We were volunteering.
Yeah,
we got in for free. We were like, yeah. And then the guy's like, you know what? I'll give you guys a chance. You guys can play a show tomorrow night. You guys can play a show tomorrow night. And we were like, yeah, we can't wait to play a show tomorrow night. I got to keep saying tomorrow night because that's the whole point of the story. So when we were actually, the day ended, right? So we went our own ways. We're like, we can't wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be amazing. Tomorrow's going to be so fun. Tomorrow night.
Yep.
So what happened is we go home, sleep it, come back the next morning. What was it? 11 o'clock, all of a sudden you just you just see everybody getting stuff and leaving.
Yeah,
everyone's leaving.
All the vendors packing up, everything.
Guests are gone. I'm like, what's going on? So we go and look for somebody to talk to, and all of a sudden,
we just gotten there, right? We didn't show up early.
No, we
just
didn't.
Got there late.
Just got there, and that was crazy because me and Madison had a hotel there. Remember?
Yeah.
So me and her stayed there, and we're like, you guys can stay at the house. You guys can go and stay there, or whatever.
Came over the next morning.
Because we got to have some hotel fun. But it was crazy because when you guys came, we didn't even get up or anything till way later.
Yeah.
And then that's when everything was happening.
We didn't even know either until we got there.
Everyone's telling us all kinds of different stuff, like, oh, somebody stole from the con, there was stealing involved, or oh, there was underage drinking involved, or
Did you ever find out for sure what it was? I always thought it was the underage drinking, right?
I'm pretty sure it was the underage drinking too.
I thought he had the guy running the con or whatever had a party in his room, and they had minors drinking or something.
Yeah, and they busted him.
Yeah.
And they literally just closed the con that day. So
that's crazy.
We had all of our equipment packed in the truck in this little fucking Kia. This little Kia fucking box. No, was it the Kia?
Yeah, it was the Kia.
It was the Kia?
It was that one.
We were in there, and then So we were disappointed because we didn't get to play the con. We're like, oh, we didn't get to play our music. Oh, well, let's go back home. We'll, like, go hang out. Oh, well, whatever. We'll go back to my uncle's house, do something. We'll go play music or something over there.
Just have fun or something.
So we end up going back to my house. And at the time, I lived in this apartment complex where we had to leave we left the equipment and the car parked.
Well, we started unloading some stuff. And we, like, because I got, like, parts of my drums down. And then we got, like, part of Desmond's amp, like his amp head down. And then we went in the house for something. We were just kicking back for a minute.
It had to have been at least 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It couldn't have been more than 20 minutes. His brother, Desmond, he was on the stream yesterday. If you guys didn't see that, go check it out. He goes out, and he literally comes running in. Is like, dude, somebody broke into the van, or somebody broke into the car, and, like, just is freaking out. I thought he was lying. We go running out there. The window was busted. Guitar, the cabinet, the bass drum.
No, not the bass drum. It was just all the toms for it. The two high toms.
The toms, yeah.
But that was it. Then my pedal and my snare and my cymbals were all laying there too, but they didn't take those. They just took the toms, and that was it. So it was weird.
The toms, the guitar, and the
cab.
The cab.
That was it. We got lucky. We took the cab head in there, so that we wouldn't have took that. Otherwise, they would have got a nice half stack
like that for nothing. And we tried. Right. I mean, we did our best, but I mean, we couldn't find it. It was like somebody probably just hucked it, got rid of it.
So the sad part is those toms. It's like, it's just the toms to the set. You couldn't even set up the set. Like, they literally left everything worth a good amount of money. The most you'd probably get for those drums at, like, music around is maybe $50, if that.
If that, right? They're not. Where's the complete set? Oh, I don't know. I broke it. Exactly. I don't think you did, but whatever.
It's like, they don't know. Especially when you have the 3 toms and they look from a nice set and everything. Yeah, they'll be like, oh, all right, whatever.
All right.
Yeah, that kind of sucked.
So that was our experience. So the only reason why I wanted to bring that up is because he's a drummer. He plays drums for our band. He does some different stuff. So I found this list. This is the top 10 drummers of all times. All right. So I'm gonna play it, and you tell me if you can tell who the drummer is. Okay.
What is, like, parts of their songs first?
Yeah, you'll hear, like, something from. I don't know what this video is either. So I'm just gonna be playing it, and we'll just kind of go through it together and see what's gonna happen.
All right, for sure.
Here we go. Okay, this is just a drum solo. This is all it is of this guy.
All right.
Just a drum solo.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you a little bit of hint. He's like maybe 1960s, 1970s.
I'm going to say...
Here we go. Let me give it a little bit more.
All right. Oh, let's hear it.
Pretty famous drum solo. So yeah, who do you think that first one was?
I gotta say it's either Keith Moon or John Bonham.
Okay, so it was right, Keith Moon.
Keith Moon.
Keith Moon. That was a drum solo he did in.
Keith Moon from the Who.
Yep. This one's weird. This one you would never. I'm already shocked that he's on the list.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
I've never heard this guy's drum work before, so this is actually pretty cool.
All right, let's see.
Who do you think that was? I'll give you a hint. He's Oriental.
Oriental, huh?
Here's a little more of it. I get it right. Yeah.
Wow, I don't know.
I don't know if this is just like someone's popular opinion.
Oh, yeah.
But This guy was on there. He seemed pretty cool. He seems legit.
I don't know, man. I have no idea.
This is a drummer. Do you know what the drummer's name from X Japan is?
No, I don't. Is that who it is?
Yeah, Yahashi Yakishi or something.
All right.
That's who it was.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to get that. I kind of was thinking something from X Japan when you said Asian, but I wasn't sure. I wouldn't have known his name.
That was
All right, cool.
Here's another one.
He's a really good drummer, though, actually. So yeah, I could see that. John Bonham.
Huh?
John Bonham.
Nope. There's a little preview on the screen right there.
Is that Carmine Appice or no? Is that Carmine Appice or Vinny Appice or no?
No, it's what's his name? His name is Danny Carey.
Oh, okay. I who do he play for? I can't remember, but
Tool.
Okay, yeah, he's a good drummer too. Yeah.
Again,
I
I think
wouldn't have been able to guess that. That's for sure.
Again, I think this is more of like a biased opinion kind of thing.
Yeah,
It's not like
it.
it's not like, oh, this is for sure fastest beat or like, oh, the coolest rhythm.
Yeah. I definitely was thinking just John Bonham right away, just because like that
Those tom
triplets,
fills,
those tom fills with triplets. John Bonham liked to do a lot of those, but he would do single bass. He was like really, really good at making them sound really tight, and it would sound like really quick doubles with his or with his triplets, and it would just sound really clean and really tight. But it was a single bass and just on his toms and everything. So it just made me think that real quick, because he always liked to do a lot of stuff like that. So
all right, let's
I'd like to think he'd probably be on this list.
Oh, well, you never know. We're barely on number 7.
Oh yeah.
So here's this one. Let's see if you can get this one. This is an 80s guy. 80s.
Hopefully.
Oh wait, sorry, it's on mute.
Okay.
All right, here it comes. This is him now. There's a little preview right there.
I already knew who it was before I looked. As soon as I looked, though, it's Dave Lombardo.
Yeah, there you go.
As soon as I looked, it's like I was about to say it. I looked, and it kind of just made me disappointed that I knew just looking at his red set. So yeah, I remember. I've seen that. So Dave Lombardo's a really good drummer.
Dave Lombardo, yeah,
he's badass.
Slayer. Some sick shit right there.
Yeah.
All right, here's another one. Get that up, the advertising, and here we go.
Oh, the Red. That's sad that they use the songs. He has actual solos, but it's really hard to down. You have to look for older stuff to find these young solos, but yeah, they're
They're pretty rare to find them.
Jimmy something.
Starts with an S.
Sullivan, right?
Yeah.
Jimmy Sullivan.
Shulman or something like that.
Yeah, and then I can't remember Sinister Gates or whatever his brother's name. It's like the Rev and the Sinister Gates. Or is it M Shadows? I think it's M Shadows. Yeah, M Shadows. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Here's number 5. Who do you think that was?
I don't know.
Do you want to hear it again, or do you just want to? I'll give you a hint. It's a 70s guy.
I want to say John Bonham, but yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That's
yeah.
him.
Just because that hi-hat work, keeping that constant hi-hat, that foot pedal going just the whole time. You had that single bass pedal, so I mean, you put that left foot to work the whole time, keeping that keeping his time going.
Yeah.
Constant timekeeper is fucking great at that. Perfect, like keep your time going, and it's like very very hard to be able to do that. And even be able to like with the intricate beats he could play and constantly keep that going. It's so hard.
Yeah.
I mean, especially to keep that right foot going too, and be able to do different kind of patterns and just keep it on time. Oh man, it takes some skill. It takes practice. Lots and lots of practice.
All right, here we go. Here's number 4.
Neil Peart.
Huh?
Neil Peart.
Yeah, that's good.
That's an iconic drum solo.
That's so sick.
2112 or something like that.
Yeah.
Solo off that album.
There's a little preview of it up there.
Yeah, that's an old ass solo.
And you can hear it too. His distinctive on the top with all those little chimes and shit.
Yep, the cowbells, the glocks, and everything. It sounds great. It's an old solo, man. My dad has a story about that where it's like he was at a bar and back in the day when he was playing, he played that solo by mistake. He just was playing his own drum solo, and I guess it sounded almost exactly like that. And someone called him out for it and was like, "Hey, that was cool. It's like you played the exact Neil Peart solo." And my dad was just like, "Wait, really? I didn't know that." And later on, never heard the solo. And later on checked it out and was like, "Oh shit, it's the exact solo."
Nice.
Somehow just played it and came out like that. So it's a pretty cool story. I mean,
that's sick.
Interesting.
You know what they say too? They always say like you're never really original. Somebody has at least thought of something you've done.
Yeah.
And not only that, the person that thought of it, there's another person that probably already did it.
Yep.
So like it's so crazy to think of that.
Yeah.
But you never know. You could be that.
Because I've even noticed that with like you listen to so many different bands, you'll actually occasionally hear certain riffs from certain songs that it's like, wait a minute, this band has this riff and this band has this riff. They're like the exact same riff, but they go into something else, or they're very similar but with a slight like key difference. Where it's like, I mean, obviously it's nothing where it's like they didn't steal it. It's just like it's very similar because it just sounded cool and they probably thought it would sound really good with it, and then probably don't even know that there's a song like that. Or a song that has a little verse or something in it, the couple chords or whatever that are the same for like a couple little parts. So you never know. I mean, it's different stuff like that happens yet.
Yeah. All right, let's see. This one's going to be pretty easy because I think they're using one of those live videos with them playing with the band.
Yeah.
So this one might be a little easier.
But that just made me think it's like, well, why wouldn't they take, like, he actually has
Yeah,
drum
I
solo
know.
videos too,
So stupid.
why would they use one of the songs? He has plenty of drum solo videos, but that's cool. So, yeah. He's a great drummer too.
Alright, here comes number 2. He's iconic.
I want to say Mike Portnoy, but I don't because I feel like Mike Portnoy would have way more intricate stuff, more tom work in his stuff. That was just a lot of cymbal work, so I would want to say, shit.
I would say stick with your gut.
Mike Portnoy?
Yeah.
It was?
Yeah.
I just felt like he would have more because, well, I guess that's just one of his, probably an older video, right?
Yeah, he looked older or like younger in that one.
Yeah, I was going to say probably something from when he was younger, just barely starting with like Majesty maybe or what.
And the
Did
cool...
he still have his long wavy hair?
No, he had a fucking one of those weird painter hats on.
Oh, what?
Yeah, you know how he wears those hats sometimes?
Yeah, he wears weird ass stuff, man.
He had one of those. All right, these are honorable mentions. We'll just go through them right away.
All right. Mike Portnoy's great, but I wouldn't put him in.
This is Bill Ward.
Bill Ward? Yeah. Good.
Can't believe the mallets he uses, man.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Definitely was an honorable mention. separately. He'd use them at the same time. He would hit them both at the same time. And
he's a ginger too.
Yeah.
He's a ginger.
His name was Ginger Baker. Yeah,
Ginger.
It was interesting.
That's hilarious. All right, here we go. We'll finish off his solo. Yeah, this is another honorable mention. This is Dave Grohl. What do you have to say about Dave Grohl? Overrated?
Very overrated.
I mean, he's done it all, right? Guitar, singing, drums.
Don't get me wrong, great musician, yeah, but I mean, he's not as great as everyone thinks. He's like, in my mind, and I'm probably gonna get hate for it, but I hate Kurt Cobain, I hate Nirvana, and
Rape me.
They're the same. I mean, there's a reason he came from Nirvana. I mean, they're the same. In my mind, they're both very overrated, and they're decent musicians, but not as good as everyone thinks.
Not the best.
No,
I can see that.
I don't like grunge anyway, so there's that.
Yeah. Okay, this is one thing I have to dispute you on though. Is like Alice in Chains.
Well, okay, Alice in Chains is the one.
But I don't really consider them grunge.
No,
they're not.
I don't either. They're way better. I mean, the only one grunge song that is like a grungier sounding song, but I have to admit that I love it is Rooster.
Oh yeah,
I love that song, even though it's got like a really grunge kind of feel to it. Yeah. But I like that song.
I don't. Well, the only thing I don't feel like it doesn't have is like those sound effects with the solo, like wow 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 wow.
Yeah,
wow,
it's got its own style to it.
Yeah,
so.
I feel like that's more of like a rock kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. So,
but that is true though. I mean, those were one of the guys that unfortunately got categorized with the fucking the grunge movement. So that sucks. Anyways, let's finish listening to fucking Dave Grohl. That was Dave Grohl, and this one here is Alex Van Halen.
What I would have on my 5 or around the top 5.
Alex?
Yeah, I think so.
He's a beast. He is pretty sick. Dude, he's skinny as fuck.
Yeah, and I mean, amazing artist. Like, all of his writing and everything is amazing. I've always loved his style.
This is Bill Bufford from King Crimson. This is number 1 right here. Do you want to guess it? Here we go. I'm going to play it one more time. Number 1, Buddy Rich.
I think it's like Gene Krupa or something wasn't in there too.
Really?
Yeah, he's a really good old school guy. Big bands I mean, like Buddy Rich.
Nice. Thank you, Blend Guitar. That was a video from Blend Guitar, so that was pretty cool.
Cool.
So yeah, just random fucking drum shit. That you're actually really good at recognizing those drum beats, man. Some people I know I have some trouble recognizing guitar tones at most times, but that was actually really. I would say you got what, at least like a good 7.
Yeah, probably.
7 out of 10.
Yeah, I wasn't really keeping track, but yeah, I could have probably got, there's a few that I got a little hints on, and I was like, I shouldn't have done that. Or when I looked back at the screen, I was like, yep, I knew it before I looked, but I looked anyway. It's like, oh, well. Yeah, that's cool. That was pretty cool, man.
All right, well, let's go ahead and finish off the podcast with the good old-fashioned, I wanted to talk about this. I know you wanted to talk about this. What's going on with the Avengers, man? You think the X-Men are finally going to join them?
I don't know. I don't know. To me, I don't see that really coming into play. Maybe, if anything, we might see Quicksilver come back with the
Avengers.
The first side of the Infinity Stones, them finally bringing that all in and everything with the Gauntlet and Thanos and all that different stuff. So I'd like to think that you might, see Quicksilver come back or something, because I mean, you got a little small glimpse of him, but they got rid of him right away, and I wasn't sure if that was a contract kind of thing, because Fox had the whole X-Men franchise and everything. But you never know. Maybe they might bring Quicksilver in. Trying to think who else had a big deal with Infinity Wars that was an X-Men character. Can't really think of anyone right off the top of my head, but I mean, there's going to be different people they could bring in now for sure. There's different things they could definitely do now. I mean, they might. We'll see how does that work with because they got Inhumans and stuff like that coming out now, right? Is Inhumans going to be part of the Avengers and stuff like that, or is it its own movie series or something? I'm not too
I have
sure about that one.
I think that it should be. I'm pretty sure it should be, because the way that I see it portrayed, they're starting to bring in. They're going to bring in the Netflix series inside of.
That's what I thought.
The Marvel Cinematic Universe as well.
Too,
so I don't see why they wouldn't, now that they have the rights to them, could tie that into the whole Infinity Wars and stuff like that.
Tie together, and I'm just very curious too. I mean, now that they have, because they still, obviously the sad thing about it is, well, sad for me and people who are fans of the Hulk is, granted they got the rights to, Disney bought out Fox, but they weren't able to buy out every. Can't remember, was it Universal Studios or something that owns?
Universal Studios.
Yeah, they own
the Hulk and
everything.
A couple other characters that he has.
So sadly, any Hulk fans such as myself, we really won't get any solo movies of the Hulk anytime soon. That's why we get these really shitty ass movies where he's just a side character. I mean, they're great. They're great movies. Don't get me wrong. I like the movies that he's in. Just kind of sucks that he's put off to the side as a side character when the Hulk is such a massive, big part of the Marvel universe. I mean,
look at what they did to Thor Ragnarok. Unfortunately, that was the best story they can tell for the Hulk. Even though he has an epic journey out in space, taking over a world, becoming king of that world.
It hurts me so bad to know that they completely gutted the Hulk story and just made it seem like Thor was this badass that liberated, Sakaar and everything. And it was just all right, I can deal with it because it's a different universe. It's the MCU. It's got its own thing. It's a different story. It's a different situation. But it's still, as a Hulk fan, it's
why?
Yeah, because it's the Hulk storyline, the things that happen to him. He goes through hell and back just to finally have peace and have his own world and be this badass king. And then later on, he gets screwed over and shit happens, goes down and everything, and then that brings about World War Hulk, which is another just amazing storyline that goes into so many different things that happen to him. And then later on, so many different things come about after that whole storyline and everything. But it's it basically just got rid of everything such as World War Hulk ever happening. I mean,
because
after you got to imagine after Infinity Wars, where's the MCU gonna go? I mean, they're obviously got to still keep going.
Yeah.
Are they gonna? New younger Avengers.
I think that's what is the plan. Is the Inhumans and all them are actually gonna start to bring in the role of the new Avengers.
Yeah, so they'll bring the
new X-Men,
Young Justice or something or was that? No, that's freaking DC crap. But I mean, what was it? Young Avengers or something like that, I think it actually was called. But they had different cartoon movies and stuff like that. But I mean, they might have an actual cool storyline for some cool new characters brought into it. I'd really, I don't want to see the what's his name, it's the new Asian Hulk. It's Vince or I don't know. It's something Chun or something like that.
I'm not sure.
It's Wayne or
Wang Chung.
Yeah, it's some weird,
Wang Chung.
It's some weird name like that, but it's it's a coolish storyline. I mean, it's an interesting way how he becomes the Hulk because he does it to help Bruce Banner. Because I can't remember entirely what it is. I'd have to read up on it again, but it's to help Bruce Banner to save his life. And then it's Bruce Banner didn't want him to take over the Hulk, embodiment, but he did anyway, and now it's just he's the new Hulk. I can't remember what it's called. I think it is New Hulk, or it's the I don't even remember what it's. I don't care for it personally.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's cool. They gotta move on. The Hulk's gotta move on to something else because eventually, they can't just keep going with Bruce Banner. I mean, he's gonna be an old man. Well, there's sort of several storylines where he's an old man, or where Hulk's just pretty much embodied Bruce Banner.
He took over,
and he grew old, and that's when you get Maestro and stuff like that. I mean, there's so many different storylines, so many different things that happen, and it's just so much stuff. So it's like, it's just really weird that it's like, where are they gonna go with it? Like, after Infinity Wars and everything, it's just, there's so many options out there. I mean, are they gonna jump right away to young Avengers, younger, the kids of all of the Avengers, or are they gonna have a few more side movies for a while and then do a couple more big ones, and then are they gonna start killing off these characters? Are they gonna bring in more new ones and then kill off some of the old ones?
Does that bring premise to write new stories now?
Yeah, I mean, how long is it gonna go? Is it going to be like the comics where it's like the MCU is now its own Marvel I mean, it's its own universe. It's its own everything now. So is it going to continue like how the comics do until eventually are they just going to like destroy the world eventually, where it's like kind of like how one I can't remember what comic series it was, like one I can't remember which one it is, but it's like there was the one where it's like where the world ends and everything. So it's like, and there's a lot of different comic series where the world ends the same way, where the sun or something like that, a meteor collides with the earth and destroys it all.
Yeah.
There's like several comic series for different characters that happened to. Deadpool has one, Hulk has one, several of them have one. So it's like, makes you think, eventually when they're finally done with the MCU, is that what they're gonna do? Are they gonna like just have a meteor or something collide with the world and just that be done, and there'd be like those very few characters that survive, and maybe later on down the line they could bring back the MCU? Or is it just going to continue constantly? I mean, eventually is it just going to branch off into I mean, it's already a franchise, but maybe a massive corporation where they're just like, I mean, they could right now, will the superhero fad die down, or is it going to get bigger? I mean, people say all the time that it's died down, that it's old, and then other people are like, no, it hasn't, because
it's gotten bigger.
It's still going on. So I mean, it's every time you think it's done, they bring in a new movie where it's like, wow, that was kick-ass. I mean, I wonder what's going to be next. So it really brings a lot of questions to what's going to happen. But I guess we got a few more years they already got multiple movies lined up. I guess we got some time to wait and see what's going on. Got Infinity Wars coming here soon. So
right now, what I see that's in the making lined up is next one for sure is Black Panther.
Yeah,
that's coming up next. And then it says here Infinity Wars, but I think it's probably not in the right order, because it shows Infinity Wars, then Ant and the Wasp.
Yeah,
Ant-Man and the Wasp. Then Captain Marvel.
Yeah, she's supposed to come in finally.
And there's two other ones for 2019, where it is like the Untitled Avengers movie.
Yeah.
And then an Untitled Spider-Man movie.
All right, cool.
And then again, it says it's gonna in 2020.
The second Infinity Wars, right?
No, Guardians of the Galaxy.
So when's this? Because Infinity Wars is gonna be 2 parts, right?
I think so.
That's what I thought.
I don't know if now again, because of what happened with the whole deal with Fox, if they have to revamp their idea to make it even better.
Yeah, you never know. There's so much options now. I did forget about the Captain Marvel one, though. That's going to be pretty cool. I'm glad they're actually finally giving I'm very interested to see, because DC already did a female solo movie. So, I mean, Marvel hasn't really done one. I mean, they've had Black Widow and they've had a lot of very popular female characters come in for certain movies, but not a solo movie yet. So I'm really curious to see how that's going to go, how people are going to like that one, how critics are going to, judge that movie, being that it's going to be a female character. And not, I'm not trying to be sexist in any way, because I'm not, or anything, but it's like, it is a different vibe, and there's always different feedback from a movie that has a female superhero, because female superheroes are very hard to criticize, because they're very hard to decide which ones are worth actually making characters and what are worth making side characters in a movie. Black Widow's a side character. They brought in Valkyrie, but she's a side character. Well, Captain Marvel, she's a main superhero. I mean, Valkyrie, Black Widow have their own stuff. They have some main shit, but Captain Marvel's Captain Marvel. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's a little bit different. So I mean, they're bringing her in because she's a very big part of the storyline. But I'm just curious to how it's going to work, and I'm very excited for it. I feel like it's going to be a great movie. I mean, I don't see why not. So I'm curious to how it's going to go.
If it was as cool as like the way Wonder Woman came out, because obviously that was the best one out of the DC franchises, because like they've been totally like bombing their shit.
Yeah,
but
sure.
that one was so awesome and just like made me want to go watch it again. So if they do keep that format or they do something like that, I mean, Marvel has it's gonna rock.
She's got a definitely has a cool story. So I mean, I don't know too much about her comic book story, but I know a little bit about it, and she's got a cool story. I mean, she's a Air Force fighter pilot and everything. So I mean, it's gonna be pretty cool. So I feel like it's gonna be worth going and seeing. So I'm excited and definitely ready for Infinity Wars because I want to know who's gonna die because someone's gotta die, man. I know it sucks, it's sad, but
Captain America's coming back.
Right, with the beard and all.
Yep.
The beard and all that. That's crazy.
It's going to be cool, though. I mean, like you said, it's just suspenseful. Can't wait for it to happen.
For sure, man. It's going to be a different feeling, I already can tell, man. I already know it's just something's going to happen, and it's just going to... When we walk out of the theater after that movie, something's going to be different, and it's going to be something devastating, I feel like. Because if it's a 2-part movie... you already know it's gonna have to end with something really traumatic and like a cliffhanger. If it's not a movie that leaves off at a really messed up part, it's gonna be like maybe part 2 is gonna be like at the end of a first battle kind of thing where they lost people and they were able to go back and like get their stuff together and then they go back to fight them again. Or you never know, maybe it might end where it's like mid battle and then it's like just ends on you where it's like someone just got killed possibly. And it ends on you, and you have to wait like a year or two until
another year.
Infinity Wars Part 2 comes out. And, dude.
And they'll give you little hints in between all the other movies, but fuck them, nothing.
Exactly. Because, I mean, all the side movies, I would imagine, aren't going to have too much to do with, Infinity Wars. I mean, they might mention it, but I'm thinking they'll probably try to stay away from it just to kind of give them a main story and then kind of incorporate it. Or maybe they, I don't know. I guess we just gotta wait and see. I mean, you never really know until it comes out, and I mean, except for the little spoilers people might pop up online. So,
but I mean,
have to wait and check it out.
Knowing us, we're gonna be like one of those right away, the opening night, the day after.
Oh, for sure, I'm gonna be there for sure opening night. But I'm always checking stuff online, looking at different things. Fan theories.
Fucking Tom Holland leaked a photo. Bam, motherfucker! Why are you leaking photos, nigga?
Right. Anything they have, I check it all out. I like to see all that stuff. I want to know what's going on. I don't know. I like spoilers, so it don't bother me.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not that bad either. Like the way people anticipate, it's like, oh no, I can't get ruined, and that's
exactly.
Like, dude, you're gonna still go see it and experience it. It's different.
I mean, yeah, when you see the visual, it's always amazing to see the visual. So I mean, whether I hear it. It don't bother me.
Cool. So, yeah, that's awesome. I mean, so how long do you think we've been on stream?
I don't know. It feels about like an hour.
Been on here for like an hour and a half now.
Nice. Cool.
So, that was pretty good. Thanks again for joining me.
For sure.
You're awesome.
Yeah,
I'm actually going to play some shit right here. Watch. Check this out. This is a... Hold on. Let me find it. Where is it at? Yeah, this is it. Thanks again, everybody. Thanks again for joining. This was my guest, Ogi. Ogi was in the audience. You can't hear it, but in there, on the TV, there's like a crowd. It's going crazy. So thanks again, man. You're awesome. We got to do one thing, though, before you leave.
All right.
One thing. Everybody on the stream, they've done it, so it's your turn. It's like we're going to eat a grasshopper.
Okay, I figured,
We're going to eat a grasshopper.
Oh, man, all right.
And it's not that bad, so don't get freaked out. I'm going to go ahead and put on that advertising thing right away, get everything situated.
For sure.
I always forget to grab them and put them right here, so that's my fault. I always have to go get them over there.
All right.
So give me 1 second. I'm going to play this.
Custom beat, nice. What'd you make this on?
Cakewalk that I had, that cakewalk. It has like a little keyboard that comes out. man. Putting it all on the table. Look at all these drugs that we got on the table. Fucking, you know what they call these in Spanish?
You said chapulín or
Chapulines. We got some chapulines in the house. All right, you guys know what I do, so I'm actually running out of the plain one, so we're gonna eat the chile con lime.
Okay.
Has a little chile con lime with them.
Yeah.
So
Rachel said those ones are better, so
yeah, they're way better.
I'll take his advice.
And dude, like now
Word for it.
I feel like I can just munch a bag of these. Like if I bought a bag of these, I would have no problem of eating them all. Right,
which ones? The normal ones or the chili?
Either of them. They're both not bad anymore. I used to think they were bad, but they're not that bad anymore. Look at them, examine them. I'm gonna go give a little peek to the camera.
Right. God dang, that's gonna be something. That's interesting. You got little. You see its head and everything, eyes, antennas. Got all the legs and everything. The flag's like dropping and everything.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry about the flag. All right, man. All right, we'll do it on 3. Thanks again for coming to the show, man. You're awesome. We're gonna have more guests on here.
Thank you, man.
Might have a break for a little bit, but again, thank you. We'll have you back on again. So,
all right, for sure.
Thanks for joining. So on count 3, ready? 1, 2, 3. Look at his mouth. Look at his mouth, everybody.
They're a little sour.
Have a good night, guys. Thanks again for joining. You guys are awesome. See you later.